and take a look at them. The kit comes with 2 perfectly sized rings just for the holes, and they are very easy to operate. You just kind of have to rotate them to the side, rotate them a little bit, and open them. And you want to open it all the way so where it makes a lazy W shape. And we're going to insert them from the back to the front, and there is a little trick in doing this. Place one side of the ring through either hole and rotate it all the way until the hinge is touching the board. Then from the back and from the front, close the ring, and as you're closing it, you'll see the other side come right through the hole. And onto the front, you can see the rings are through. And then just go ahead and close them. And again, it might be easier with one hand in the back and one hand in the front to close them tight. Okay, now that we've wrapped the front of the Podium book stand and put the front panel on it, we're going to set that unit aside and work on the easel. This is what holds our album upright as it sits on our bookshelf. This is a part where we have to use a ruler because the measurements are very critical. So pull out your gridded clear ruler from Club Scrap and your handy dandy number 2 pencil, and we'll get going on this. Our measurements are going to be just a hair shy of 3/4 of an inch. So from the bottom, measure up 3/4 of an inch, just a hair shy of 3/4 of an inch, and draw a line. Again, a horizontal line across the bottom of our paper. And then we're going to do the same thing up the left-hand side. 3/4 of an inch. What you should be showing here, if you look closely, and I don't know if you can see it real well, but you should have a square, a perfect square down in the corner. If you don't have a perfect square, it means that one of your 2 measurements are off. Unless both your measurements are off by the same amount. And then I can't really help you there. But we'll just continue on knowing that you've made a perfect measurement. Now we're going to pull out the last 2 pieces of our bookbinding board. You'll notice one is medium, one is small, or large and small. And we're going to place them on the book or on the cover stock so that the bottom left-hand corner of your book board nests right into the corner of the lines that we just drew, right into the intersection there. And we'll glue that in place. And then this measurement is the most important one. You want your smaller piece to be mounted 1/2 of an inch above the larger section. So we're going to go ahead and measure that. And the easiest way to do that, again, with your Club Scrap clear gridded ruler, place it right at 1/2 an inch above, and then just nest your top board right up to it. Okay, you should have something that looks just like this. Let's go ahead and glue it into place. Okay, not only have I glued the book board into place on our cover stock, but I've also scored it, turned the edges, nipped them, and glued them into place as we had done on the front of the Podium book stand. So this is what we should have. At this point, you don't need to worry about scoring in this gutter or anything. Just leave it just as is, and we're going to put the front cover on. Again, with my man hands, I can hold it while I spread the glue. But if you need to put it down on your worksheet, go ahead and do so. Just make sure that you bend over that paper on top of itself so that you don't get any gluey residue on your project as you're working. Now keep in mind, as you're gluing, the paper is only going to adhere to the bookboard where you've put glue. So if you're not getting that glue all the way to the edge, then the edges aren't going to stick. So you want to make sure that you've got full, even coverage over the entire surface. You don't want anything bubbling up. And no measuring here, just eyeball it. Before you stick that last edge down on the bottom, don't forget, we've got to tuck our ribbon in here. Now again, this is the bottom edge for you. We're just leaving that up just a little bit. We've got plenty of glue on there, so it's not going to dry extra fast. We're going to stick our tail of our ribbon right in there. Oh, about 1 inch up is fine. Now I purposely didn't get you to do this earlier because I don't want you measuring side to side to see if it's even. You're never going to see this. This is tucked on the inside of our project. So we're just going to stick him in there a little bit and push him down flat. Again, with our bone folder, reinforcing that adhesion. Once we've pressed this all into place and used our bone folder, and we're sure that it's tacked down nice and tight, we can start exercising that hinge piece. And to do that, we're just going to take it and bend it like this, and then go back with our hands and make sure that this is pressed firmly along the seam. Again, This is a good way to do it. And the reason that I do this is because you really have to manhandle this to get it to lay completely flat. And if you're delicate or using your bone folder, we're not actually getting that rough, rounded edge that we need in the score to make it work right. So just give it a go. Once you've exercised it, it'll lay perfectly flat. And then we can go ahead and set that aside. And on to the next part, the fun part with wire.